Charisma. And what does charismatic mean? Well, that's why Hossein is here. Let's get one thing straight. This mysterious, divine gift from God is not some kind of magical characteristic that only certain people are born with. As with most soft skills in life, charisma can definitely be improved with some practice and dedication. Charisma is one of the greatest traits that influences your life and the lives around you. Improving charisma will affect all areas of your life. And you know why? People, those small tiny creatures, are all around us, and in order to come anywhere in life, we have to deal with them. Many get charisma confused with charm. Although they can achieve same outcomes, there's a quite distinction between these two. Unlike charm, charisma is a glow, an aura that surrounds you when you become more attuned with the abilities that we will cover in this video. Charm is making an effort to get liked, whereas charisma is being liked for who you are. Charm is an active trait, whereas charisma is passive. Even the least charismatic person can make an attempt to be charming for the moment. Charisma, on the other hand, cannot be faked. It becomes internalized and is detected almost instantly. Before proceeding further, let me tell you that this video will be the first one, the intro in the series called Charisma Essentials. Some of the videos that the series will comprise are already on the channel, and I will keep adding to the list as I make videos relevant to the theme. So what is charisma? It's the ability to attract and influence people, as well as charm them into liking you, following you. A devotion for your persona that will stir up some emotions and open up a lot of doors in your life. Charisma can be expressed in different ways, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Of course, there are naturally charismatic people, and by naturally I mean people who were brought up, fostered in an environment that was very advantageous for a charismatic development. Naturally, charismatic people know instinctively that they are liked and being met with open arms in different types of companies. If many people connect with you, then you're obviously charismatic, or charming at least. I divide charisma into two parts: emotional charisma and intellectual charisma. Emotional charisma demands a deep analysis of one person's emotional matrix. Yours. Because all people share same sets of emotions and are able to feel them. Intellectual charisma demands studying human behavior on a large scale, the application of which has to be individualized to every character that you interact with. We have same emotions but different personal nuances. To do that, we have to expose ourselves to many people. Practice makes perfect, or at least I've heard. Emotional and intellectual charisma doesn't have to be present simultaneously in order to be perceived as a charismatic person. Some tend to possess more of emotional understanding. Others have a dominant intellectual charisma, but you will maximize your influence if you work on both fronts. Emotional intelligence makes up the majority of charisma, and if we would take a guess, I would stick with the 80-20 rule. Well, by now you know that I love it. It's the favorite. Intellectual charisma is more pronounced in the professional life, where playing games is as important as oxygen for our surviving. Charisma has to work in a two-lane street. A person has to be both expressive and have a sense for others, their thoughts, their feelings. If you're not being genuine by sharing your inner self with others, sharing your emotions, your thoughts, not in a wimpy way, of course, people will doubt your intentions. Emotional charisma is built from having a clear understanding for emotions in general, being able to express your emotions in a tactful and engaging way, as well as grasping subtleties of your counterpart's emotional signals. This is where emotional fortitude comes into place, having control of your own sensations and being able to act rationally in dire situations. As you probably already understood, emotional fortitude series is very relevant for charisma development. Intellectual charisma is very fundamental for power and influence. Charisma and power are inseparable, if you want to do it genuinely, of course. To improve intellectual charisma, one has to become a courtier. Study people and engage with them. Knowledge is power, and charisma isn't selected towards people's backgrounds. Power is gained with the number of followers, admirers, not the quality. Power is insincere. People who play are manipulative and insecure. Why all these games? Why do I have to play? I understand your concern. These questions are very common. Let me clarify it for you. I have already covered some of the answers. Whether you try to close your eyes or deny its existence, you won't be able to avoid it, baby. Sure, some are manipulative, but egotistical and damaging intentions will always rise to the surface, one way or another. I preach genuineness, and that is exactly what will improve our life quality in the long run. Verbal communication has been a very little part in human evolution. You can ignore the reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of that reality. Non-verbal communication is the dominating part for human interactions. Study it. You can complain about pool or table tennis being a dumb activity, or you could learn the fundamentals and develop the skills to enjoy those activities. Same goes for human interactions. Everything is stupid and boring and difficult until you learn and adapt. Intellectual charisma is much more diverse and has to be updated constantly because it evolves with ever-changing surroundings and circumstances. Unlike emotional charisma, the core of which doesn't change. Let's talk about some practicalities. Some of the parts for intellectual charisma are being a good speaker, having a knack for listening, and genuinely being interested in people. Both speaking and listening qualities become powerful when combined. You turn into an avid storyteller, and that is the best way of marketing anything, yourself, a business, or an agenda if you like. Storytelling is a very powerful tool to engage the audience. Best results are achieved when interacting with them. You do that by asking questions and leading people to discover the insights on their own, not asserting them. Mystery is a very nice seasoning to storytelling. Obviously, being a good conversationalist is a must. Granting undivided attention, picking up subtle cues, and following up with additional questions and remarks. Another part for intellectual charisma is body language, knowing what different gestures and grimaces mean, as well as positioning body in a way that signals power. Check this one for some ideas for personal branding. I don't know how many times people were amazed when remembering their names, conversation topics, and the interaction places. They love it, especially when you call them by their names. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Remembering their names, that sweet sound of your dashing name. Everybody loves it. Music to the ears. Watch this one if you want to get additional information. All in all, it's about ability to analyze surroundings and taking the most beneficial action. Emotional charisma is heightened when applied on individuals, personal charisma. Intellectual charisma is heightened when applied on masses, non-personal charisma. Working individuals and working masses. It absolutely doesn't mean that there are no crossovers. It's just an overview, an easy comprehension. Nothing is black and white in life. Ultimate charisma is attained when you feel at home with people, and it comes naturally to court people, knowing what to do, and mixing up your knowledge on the subject. If you really love cars, you know every little part that holds it together because you're passionate, understanding the structure on a detailed level. So what are your thoughts? You know the drill. Hossein out!